I'm Carla Buderak and welcome to Behavior Communicates. School is starting and it's time to get things structured. If you watched my video on how to teach students with autism how to play, you remember that I promised a video on work systems for academics. So, if you remember what a work system is, it's a visual way to answer 4 questions. What work? How much work? How do I know when I'm done? And what comes next? Today I'm going to show you 3 examples of work systems for students with moderate severe disabilities, and next week I'm going to show you some work systems for students with higher cognitive abilities. So what I have for you here today is a work system for students with severe disabilities basically, or students with a moderate disability that has not ever worked with a work system. So this is set up for independent work, and what I've done is a simple left to right work system. So let's see if it answers those 4 questions. What work? A simple homemade, actually put in task. How much work? All of these chips goes inside. How do I know when I'm done? It goes in the finished basket. And what comes next? The computer. The goal here is not necessarily accuracy, it's task completion. And if this is set up as an independent work system, you just want the child to understand that when they sit down and this work system is presented, they just need to do a task. If you know the child has never seen this task, then make sure that you show them how to do it in direct instruction, because you never want to put anything in an independent work system that the child cannot complete themselves. Okay, so now here I've set up a work system that's a little more sophisticated than the first. This would be appropriate for, let's say, a beginning elementary child that has moderate disabilities. So we're still not at academics, but we're at task completion and a little more sophisticated. So you can see that the child can answer those 4 questions visually. What work? How much work? How do I know when I'm done? And what comes next? So the child would look at this first star and match it to the first task, which is another simple put-in task, where he or she would just put the objects in this homemade task and in the finished box. Next, they would go to the square and do this task, where you've got color-coded baskets and different colored blocks. And they would just simply match the color of the blocks with the color of the baskets and put it in the finished basket when they were done. The last task is to take the triangle, match it to the appropriate box, and you can see it's a cutout jig where they just take the markers and match them to the cutout colors in the box. When they're finished, then they simply take everything and put it in the finished basket. And then they just go to what comes next. The last example I have for you today looks something like this. This is for students that have a little more sophisticated academic activities to do, and you can have this sitting on their desk. They also have these kinds of things that can sit on the floor next to their desk. You can just number them 1, 2, 3 for their work system, so they can take a look and see what they need in box number 1 or drawer number 1, and out comes a file folder activity that they need to match sentence completion and put it in the finished box. Same thing with the next drawer. They just go to the second one, and in this drawer they have something like a geography lesson where they have to match the states on the map of the United States, and then when they're finished they just put that in the finished basket, and so on. So basically you have a little more sophisticated work system for those children who are a little more capable of doing some of those academic things, but yet they get the system that shows them what work, how much work, how do I know when I'm done, and what comes next. I hope these examples have helped you about work systems, and remember, next week I'm going to show you work systems for students with higher cognitive abilities. Thank you so much for joining me here at Behavior Communicates, where I help you and your child or your student create a life where you both get what you really want and what you really need. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with all your friends on Facebook and Twitter. And please sign up for Behavior Communicates if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.